Before we start cooking, I want to thank my wonderful parents for my personalized apron with the Cajun Cooks logo. So this is the handiwork of Chase and Pialo Venable at Superior Embroidery. They have a shop in Harvey, Louisiana, which is just outside of New Orleans, and they ship anywhere. So if you want some personalized embroidery work for yourself, contact them at the number above. They will be glad to do business with you. They do excellent, excellent work. So let's get into chicken sauce piquante. This is not something that I would have had in my grandmother's dining room. This is a Cajun and Creole dish because we're adding some tomato to it. But what's up with piquante? Well, piquante in French means something sticky or something that picks. So when I was a kid in Louisiana, in southern Louisiana, where my grandmother lived, they had a lot of vegetation, out in the backyard, and we always had to be careful of the piquants. And these were circular, thorny thingies, I don't know, but they would stick to your socks and they would pick. They were piquants. And so we were warned to beware of the piquants. So a piquant is something that is sticky or sharp. So sauce piquant is going to be a little sharp, or it may even pick because it has Cajun seasonings in it, and it has tomato, which adds an acidic element. So that's the history behind sauce piquant. So it's basically, and today we're going to be doing sauce piquant with chicken. It's a chicken stew, throw in some tomatoes, simmer, and you have a meal. It does take a while, but it is delicious. So let's start with our ingredients for chicken sauce piquant. All right, so let's go through the ingredients that are necessary to make chicken sauce piquant. Well, first of all, yes, you need chicken. So I have a cut up chicken, 8 pieces of chicken. I have seasoned this with salt, pepper, and my Cajun spice mix. And if you're wondering what's in my Cajun spice mix, my previous video did give the ingredients for my Cajun spice mix. I may post it again for this video. So the chicken is ready, seasoned. We're going to sear the chicken pieces in some peanut oil. And of course, if it's Cajun, we have to make a roux. So 2/3 of a cup of peanut oil, 3/4 of a cup of flour. I like a little more flour in the oil. When I make a roux, I like my roux to stick to the pot. So if you want the same ratio of oil to flour, that's fine too. Then we're going to have 1 chopped onion, 2 stalks of celery, 1 green pepper, all of that chopped, 2 cloves of garlic. Of course, you want to chop that up. And then here's the piquants here. So we're going to throw in some tomato products. I have some diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and about 2 teaspoons of tomato paste to give some depth to the sauce. I'm going to throw in some hot sauce. I have to have some hot sauce in there. A sauce piquant. It's got to be picky. It's got to pick. And then a few splashes of hot sauce, a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, sea salt, black pepper, and then 1 teaspoon of Italian seasonings, 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried thyme with 2 bay leaves, and then I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 3/4 of a teaspoon of my Cajun spice mix. This is a little conservative. Sauce piquant can be very spicy, so I'm starting with this amount of spice. If you want more, you can definitely double up on the cayenne pepper, but I'm starting conservatively. If I want to add more, I can, or bring the hot sauce to the table. Toward the end of the cooking process, I'm going to throw in some green onions, pinch of Italian parsley, not cilantro, and this is going to be served over rice. I'm going to cook a cup of rice to have with the sauce piquant. And then once I'm done with my roux, I'm going to use 3 cups of chicken stock that I have simmering here to blend in with my roux and to create the sauce. So I think it's time for the Cajun cook to start cooking. Let's get started. We're going to heat up this iron skillet so that we can sear the chicken pieces, and we are ready to start cooking. All right, so the first step to making chicken sauce piquante is to sear the pieces of chicken. So I'm going to put these pieces of chicken in my skillet. I'm going to start with the larger pieces first, and these will get about a 7-minute sear on each side, and then I'll do the smaller pieces, keep them warm in the oven, and then the next step, making the roux. I have poured the oil out of my skillet. I'm going to deglaze this skillet with some white wine and pour it into the sauce. There's a lot of flavor in this skillet, and Cajuns never waste flavor opportunities. At least this Cajun doesn't. So now we're ready to make the sauce. And of course, we make a roux. It's Cajun cooking. Of course we make a roux. So I'm heating up a Dutch oven. I'm going to pour in my oil, get that warm, and then stir in the flour. That will take about 20 minutes if you're doing it correctly. Remember, you always cook a roux on low, not high. You will burn it. Then you've got to start all over again. No one wants to do that. So I'm going to take out my whisk. I'm going to pour in, this is 2/3 of a cup of peanut oil, and that's already starting to warm up. And then I'm going to gradually blend in my flour. I'm using 3/4 of a cup of flour. I like my roux to stick to the pot because it could stick to your ribs. And I think we are ready. All right, stir, stir, stir. Good way to burn off calories. All right, so I'm going to keep whisking this until it turns brown. This is going to be a smokier roux, a darker chocolate colored roux. Pour yourself a glass of wine and come back in a few minutes. Or stay tuned, I should say. All right, so you can see the color of this roux. This is the perfect color for the sauce piquante. And now I'm going to add in my onions, celery, green pepper, and this is going to saute for 7 minutes or so. I'll know when the vegetables appear soft when you touch them with a spoon. Will then throw in my garlic, deglaze my pan with some wine, throw in that extra seasonings. Smells good in here, y'all. Time to deglaze the flavors out of this skillet. A little bit of white wine. And be sure you are scraping the debris from the bottom of that skillet. It's going right in that pot. And then I'm going to pour in my stock and begin the sauce. We are beginning the sauce piquante, and the stock is going to blend in with the roux. And I'm not going to pour all of this stock into the pot at once. Do it in thirds, because as the roux and the stock come together and it kind of boils through and becomes smoother, you'll have to add more stock. So you're replacing liquid that's going to evaporate. This smells good. All right, so I've put in a little bit of stock. Let's put the Creole into the sauce piquante. So diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and let's eyeball a teaspoon, maybe 2, of tomato paste. And here's where you want to raise your heat up to medium, maybe medium high. You want to bring it to a gentle boil so it all comes together. All right, so welcome back. And so you can see we have a very nice sauce piquante going on. I've blended in my chicken stock, my tomato sauce, my diced tomatoes. Now, let's continue adding that pickiness to the sauce piquante with our spices. So, tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and that goes. Teaspoon of Italian seasonings. 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried thyme and 2 bay leaves. In they go for a swim. And let's talk about the spices, the picky spiciness here. Not too spicy. Add more if you want. Cut back if you don't want so much. But 1/4 cup of cayenne pepper. 1/4 cup. That would be a lot, wouldn't it? 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. 3/4 of a teaspoon of my own Cajun spice mix. This does have cayenne pepper in it, so I'm saying just be careful with your spices. You can always add more if you want extra heat. Oh wait, I'm not done yet. Time for the hot sauce. Give it a shake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. And then, of course, we want to throw in some salt. Again, start conservative, add later on. You can't unsalt something. You can't unpepper it either. I think that's a good way to start. I'm going to save my parsley and my green onions until the end. Let's give the chicken a nice day at the spa. You're going to go into the sauna here and simmer. And this is about a 50-minute simmer. And from here on out, it's pretty easy. You noticed I've moved my pot back to my simmer burner. This shouldn't boil. And you want to turn the chicken into the sauce piquante. And then as the sauce continues to thicken, I'm going to add some more chicken stock. A lot of flavor, a lot of spice, yummy goodness. So let's let this rest for a while. The Cajun cook's going to have a glass of wine while this is simmering. And when we come back, I'll have this plated up. And then, I forgot to mention wine pairings. Yes, we will have some wine suggestions going with sauce piquante. And I can't wait for this to hit the dinner table. So, yes, I'm having a glass of wine, but I'm going to be checking in with this periodically. Turn your chicken into the sauce as it simmers. And In 50 minutes, we'll be eating. But of course, I'm going to keep it hanging on for 50 minutes. We'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, the Cajun has cooked. And here is the chicken sauce piquante. What an elegant dish, especially this time of the year. When it's cold, it's chilly. I know in the Big Easy, it's Mardi Gras season when we're taping this. And, gumbo, étouffée, sauce piquante. So here we have chicken sauce piquante. Now it's time to talk about wine pairings. And a white option would be Roussanne, and I am featuring a Roussanne from Artera Wines. Roussanne is a variety that grows in the Rhone region of France, and Artera Wine has a microclimate that supports this grape, and this is lovely. And look at this. Can't beat it. If you want red wine, I would recommend the Artera Wine Cabernet Franc. Nice, juicy, and matches quite well with the piquante, sauce piquante, the spice that goes with this. And you know what? The Cajun cook is hungry, and so are his friends. So we are going to have dinner now, and you can see this looks lovely. It smells good. We have some good wines here from Virginia. If you are interested in Virginia wines, go to my wine blog, virginiawinetime.com. Most Virginia wineries can ship to states outside of Virginia. Artera Wine makes excellent wines, and we're having them here. So visit my wine blog, virginiawinetime.com, and it's time to eat. So, if you found this video instructional and you like chicken sauce piquante, give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I hope to be taping more often in the future. It's 2026, time for new horizons, new recipes, and a lot of Cajun cooking. So, the Cajun cook says, cheers, enjoy.